Hello and welcome to another episode of Create Talks. Today we're diving into how to empower the modern B2B buyer, not just by simplifying transactions, but by guiding them through the entire buying journey. With me today, I have my dear colleague Jonas Prosell from Tieto Every Create, and in a moment you will also meet Peter Toft from Keyshot and Christian Molbeck from In River. They all share a vision in guiding buyers through the journey, from making them new customers to long-term and value-creating partners. And what makes the difference is how we use product information and visual intelligence to build trust, clarity, and confidence. Together, we'll explore how to create coherent, data-driven, and visually rich experiences that support every step of the professional buyer's journey. And to kick things off, I'll hand over to you, Jonas, and you will walk us through how the modern buyer is evolving and how the expectations are changing from today and in the future.
Well, thank you, Satu. Nice to be here. So, think about it. When was the last time that you bought something without checking online first? Now, imagine doing that for a 50,000 euro machine. And that is the reality of today's professional buyer. So, and here's the thing. The difference between a lost lead and a loyal customer often comes down to one thing: how clearly and confidently your product information speaks for you before the salesperson ever does.
How come? Can you elaborate a bit?
Well, the professional buyer is self-directed. They expect the same speed, personalization, and ease in the professional purchases as they do in their personal lives.
So, what is the behavior really with the professional buyer?
They are doing their homework. They compare, evaluate, and often decide long before you even knew that they were interested. And if they don't find what they need, they'll move on to someone who makes it easier for them.
To the competitor. Yeah.
Could be,
But that sounds to me very much like consumers. Is there no difference between the professional buyer and the consumer?
Great question. While the behaviors may look similar, like researching online, comparing options, the stakes are different. A consumer might be disappointed by a wrong purchase, but a professional buyer could face serious operational consequences, production delays, compliance issues, or financial losses.
Yeah.
And that's why professional buyers demand not just convenience, but precision, reliability, and also traceability.
It could be very expensive otherwise. So what do we need to do to get things right, to meet these expectations?
Well, professional buyers behave like consumer in terms of expectations, but with much higher demands on accuracy and accountability. So rich, accurate product information and compelling visuals are essential. They help buyers to understand complex offerings, evaluate fit, and build confidence without needing to pick up the phone.
I think you will agree with me on this question, but what more can you offer digitally to make the professional customer feel well prepared and ready to make that purchase?
Well, before buyers ready to commit, they need more than just the price. They need things like verified specifications, safety sheets, certificates, compatibility data, and visual clarity, whether it's a 3D model, an exploded view, or an interactive configurator.
So you claim that product information is crucial for commerce.
Yes, product information is a strategic asset. It reduces risk, it accelerates decision making, and it ensures the right product is selected the first time. So, like one of my customers said, 99.9% right is 100% wrong in terms of fit.
Oh dear, I get it. Detailed info really matters. But what else can companies do to support digitally the aftermarket and the post-purchase?
Right. So the journey doesn't end at the purchase. In fact, that's where the real life value begins. So Buyers want ongoing access to updated documentation, service tools, and upgrades. They want to manage the relationships on their own terms.
And you say this increase in sales efficiency.
It does.
Yeah.
A client told me that with their new PIM system, the impact was immediate. Now, a customer who previously bought a variant, they can go online, find it themselves, and immediately see the new version and buy it. And also, they told me that they never had that kind of accessory and replacement relationships before to make that possible.
So in other words, with structured data and visual content, we can support everything from self-service reordering to training and maintenance, and turning one-time buyers into loyal and long-term partners. Did I get it right now?
Very much so. And again, a great product experience will directly boost your sales. As another client said, significant increase in e-commerce was directly related to the new PRIM system and all the development that they were able to do on the website.
So how come? Tell me more about that.
Well, I would claim that product information and visual digital representations, they play a crucial role in increasing sales effectiveness. So accurate and detailed product data helps buyers make informed decisions quickly, reducing the time spent on research and comparisons.
I know that we will hear more about this from both Christian and Peter later, but you mentioned visuals, and please elaborate a bit more from your point of view.
Yes, so visual representations such as 3D models, animations, and interactive demos, they provide a clear understanding of the product's features and benefits. So this helps the buyer visualize the product in their own environment, providing clarity that increases their confidence in making the purchase decision. And Peter Toft from Keyshot will tell us more about that in a bit.
True. So, to summarize, our experience is that when providing comprehensive product information and engaging visuals, sales teams can effectively communicate the value of the product, address buyer concerns, and close deals faster.
Yes.
That's a good answer. So it appears that product information in combination with the visual images creates the real impact.
Yes. Coherent product information and visual representations ensure a unified experience across digital and in-person channels. So when buyers interact with the product online, they expect the same level of detail and clarity as when they engage with sales teams or visit physical stores.
But I wonder, do sellers sense this difference between
Yes.
now and then? And
Yeah, they do. So I had, for example, a client telling me that after implementing in RiverPIM, even internally, thanks to PIM, the website and the shop became the main source of truth. And further, if something is wrong, they can go and fix it almost live now.
So what we're really talking about here is the consistency across all the different touch points.
Yes, so centralized product data ensures that buyers receive the same accurate and up-to-date information and experience, whether if it's on the website, mobile app, sales presentations they might have, or in-store displays or a marketplace or what have you.
But I do need to challenge you a bit, Jonas, because I talk to sales teams and they still claim and say that customers need to talk to the expert. What do you say about that?
Yes, and that is true. But the customer will need to talk to the expert only when it suits them. Buyers aren't avoiding salespeople, they're just saving that interaction to when it really matters. So they want expertise and not order taking. And a solid foundation on visuals also provides sales teams with better tools as well.
Okay, so I understand that the role of sales is shifting. We know that. It's less about pushing information and more about being ready with insights when the buyer actively seeks it. But you say better tools. What do you mean with that?
Well, that's a good question too. Sales teams can use the same 3D models and interactive demos used online in customer meetings and presentations. When everything feels connected, online, in-store, in meetings, it builds trust. And trust is really what makes customers to come back.
And you just outlined how the buyer journey is increasingly shaped by digital expectations. And it is clear that none of these works without a solid foundation. What would you say is the base for creating that kind of journey?
Well, I would say that it is centralized, enriched, and consistent product data. That kind of information makes it every interaction possible, whether it happens online, offline, before the purchase or after. Also, when buyers trust what they see and have clear visuals, they get accurate specifications, real-time availability. They're more likely to convert, engage, and stay on as customers. So yes, trust in product information is absolutely one of the key drivers to digital commerce success and commerce success in general.
Yeah. So seeing is believing. And I know that both Christiana and Peter will talk more about that in a while. Thank you so much for sharing these insights, Jonas. I know you will also be back in a moment, but thank you for so long.
Thank you.
Well, hello, Peter. Welcome to my table.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you here. As me and Jonas talked earlier, even the best data needs to be seen to be believed. Seeing is believing, like we said, right? Visuals actually go beyond function. They help to tell the brand story and make that emotional connection. And that is what you will show us all about. And I'm so excited. And also tell us the story why visual intelligence transforms complexity into clarity and elevates the customer experience.
Yes, indeed.
And the buyer experience.
And the buying experience, yes. Yeah. Excellent. All right, so my part is going to be from a visual standpoint. That is what we do and what we are passionate about. So I will try taking you into why we think a visual representation of a product, being it 2D or now in 3D also, helps the buyer both become first-time customers and repeat customers. So I have just a small video that I want to show that just shows you how visual we are in products today. So I'll just play that quickly. Hopefully you'll see that on the screen now, but it gives a good idea on, products are not just today, 2D flat images where people look at it and say, oh, I know exactly what that is. There's many different products, there's many different variations, there's competitors. So how do you differ from your competitors in presenting your products? So that is some of the things that we're going to talk about today.
That is so cool.
So basically what we've seen, and I think Jonas touched about it, is that the buyer is becoming more and more an expert on what they want to do. And the experience that we give or our clients give their clients on the web and on different places on commerce, the experience on B2B is much more like B2C. They have high expectations. They need to have that to make an informed decision. So that's what we've been looking into. And I think that's why companies are looking into enhancing the visual experience going from 2D to 3D. So what we've seen and reports are telling us is that 92% of all manufacturing companies are looking into digitalization and doing that. A lot of them are having problems with it because they're still having data in silo solutions. That's what Christian is going to talk about a little bit later. What we do see is that 40% of clients actually implementing this have 40% fewer returns on 3D assets because basically people have done much more research before buying it and they're happy with what they bought, ergo fewer returns. So if we go straight into an example, this is a 2D rendering just to make sure that we talk the same language. On the right hand side, it's a Rolex watch. It's a high end. It's very important that you get the best experience buying it. It's not a cheap watch to buy. On the right hand side, you have the model. And traditionally, you would build a prototype, and then you will start taking pictures and stuff like that. Today, you can actually take the model and you can create beautiful visual representations in 2D, which you have on the right-hand side, which makes the clients enabled to actually start promoting the product internally before it's actually built. you can start creating visuals, you can create manuals, and then you can also have multiple different versions based on a digital twin. So the old photo shoots where you have to create 1,000 images and pick from them is actually now you can do that from a 2D visualization.
That's really, really impressive. But can I just ask you, what really stands out here is how the visuals become a shared language across teams, from sales to support to marketing. And how does that kind of consistency across the organization shape the buying experience?
So consistency is a key word, but it also has to be accurate. So I think that's one of the things that have prevented people from going down this road is traditional photograph. Is that 100% accurate? It's not. You can see here from Pepsi, whenever they do a campaign, they create 3D visualizations based on and if you click on the video, you won't be able to see this is not an actual Coca-Cola Pepsi can. And the level of details you can add to it just becomes that you from marketing to promoting it to the buying experience, you can actually promote whatever you want, and the buyer gets a very good detailed experience of the product. And what they say sketch on Monday and promote on Friday. So the time to market, the time to execution becomes much more effective in that approach. If we then go over to kind of what we're going to talk a lot about today is the manufacturing, heavy machinery, building actually products that you sell from business to business. A lot of them are looking into saying, okay, building a model, expensive, time consuming. Is there an easier way we can do that? But also, is there an easier way we can promote our product, highlight our product? How is our product built? How is it assembled? And how is it used afterwards in post sales support? So this video will give you some insights on the opportunities you can do from a visualization of the product. And you can see this can go both from small products to very big machines. So you can also, buying the product, you can actually see, okay, how would this product fit in my assembly hall? Is this something I can design my factory around? Is the dimensions correct? How is it used? And again, how is it assembled? These are all things that you, as a professional buyer, these are all information you want to have before actually making the purchase. And as Jonas said, the ramification of buying a wrong pair of jeans compared to buying a wrong machine for $1 million is very, very different. So the research you do and the opportunity visualization gives you in making the right decision is key for companies like this. If we then talk post sales, I think Jonas talked about it, saying that clients want to be supported afterwards. They want to be shown how the product is being used. So, for example, one of our clients, they call it from care to customer context, is we can all relate to buying this kind of product. It could be that, it could be a piece of furniture that you have to assemble when you get home. It takes forever. You get frustrated. That might end up you giving it some bad reviews on Trustpilot, or you never buying it. You're definitely not a repeat customer. So these type of clients, in building a visual support afterwards that gives people a very realistic way of assembling your product, how to use it, how to store it, is something that helps you create repeat customers.
Interesting. Peter, something that is really important for us in Tietoevry Create is the importance of sustainable solutions.
Yes.
And I know that the digital twins and the 3D visuals, they can reduce the need of physical samples and prototypes.
Yeah. So like we touched on, very good question. And I think this is, some companies will say it's a side benefit, and some people will say this is actually what drives us, is saying going from, if you take this car manufacturer here and you look and saying, okay, traditionally you would have to get that car to a destination, you had to build the actual prototype, you had to drive to it, a photographer had to drive to it. So the carbon footprint that you can put away by doing a 3D rendering of that photo shoot is astonishing, because you don't need the photographer, you don't need the prototype, you don't need to drive to it, you're not dependent on weather. So the savings, both in sustainability and in time, is a main contributing factor to people investing in this.
So why do companies do this?
So, very good question. So there always has to be a business driver driving this outcome for investing in technology like this. So one simple, very simple, the ability to create 2D renderings, a flat image from a model, eliminates photography. So that's a cost. There's definitely a cost driver. There's a time to market. There is the internal being able to promote a product without even having to build the model. So that is definitely one of the main drivers. And then I would say one of the more futuristic ones is if you have product companies that has a lot of SKUs and a lot of different variations of products. Imagine if you had 200 different variations, you had to take 200 different pictures to be represented on your website. So we had clients that really didn't want to do that, so they made generic pictures, which meant that when the companies bought them, they didn't really know, did they buy the right product, because they haven't really seen the right product. So having a digital twin enables you to have at hand the 200 variations very quickly and very fast. And then the last one is just the one we touched on. Sustainability is a very big driver for people to make those decisions. So I would say that will be my top 5 reasons for investing in software like this.
Did you hear that? That was a good answer, I think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. And another important aspect when creating these buying journeys is a strong foundation for product data. Structured and centralized product data is what makes experiences possible, accurate, consistent, and ready for every channel. And this you will hear more about from Christian Malbeck from InRiver. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, Christian, and welcome to Stockholm.
Thank you very much, Satu.
I would say last but not least, because you have lots of interesting things to share, right?
Thank you. Yes, there is a lot of things that we can talk about here. So, but I'll try to be brief. But just to set the scene, what we hear from companies, being one of the larger vendors in this space, we get a lot of best practices, feedback from our customers, and as we see it, behind every successful omni-channel buying journey that our customers are giving their customers is a very well crafted product information strategy. So at every stage of the buyer journey, from discovery and decision to long-term loyalty, the product experience is consistent, rich, and accurate across all channels. And that orchestration is made possible by a connected, scalable, and optimized ecosystem of different technologies and processes that works together, where PIM and DAM is 2 very crucial elements that play a central role here. So that is what builds the trust and drives the sales and long-term relationships between our customers and their customers.
Yeah, great. So you will share advice on how to overcome the internal challenges when working with the product information. But the automation and systematic approach is not just about operations, right?
Exactly. So these challenges go beyond operations. They shape how buyers experience a brand. When product information is inconsistent or is incomplete, it creates confusion and it breaks trust. And that can lead directly to loss of sales.
So how do you see companies turning that around, and what does it take to make the product information to be the real driver for buyer confidence?
I think the first crucial step is to actually treat your product information as a strategic asset rather than just a technical detail in the lower left corner. So that means centralizing it, enriching it, making sure it is consistent across every channel. So when buyers see the same clear and reliable information, whether they are browsing on the internet, talking to people, visiting a store, calling support, or whatever they are doing, it builds confidence. And confident buyers are more likely to convert, to stay loyal, and even to advocate for your brand.
That's really interesting. Let's get started because I know I'm super excited to hear all about this.
Thank you very much, Sergio. There's a lot to this, but because there's a lot of challenges here. So first of all, we see from our customer base that the omni-channel complexity and the product data complexity together creates a lot of challenges. First of all, we see that companies are selling and promoting their products across many different channels. Actually, the number of channels and connections have increased significantly, just as we see in our customer base since the pandemic ended. And also, you see that the product data itself, the demands from the modern buyer now are much higher. They need all these accurate, detailed data that Jonas also talked about earlier. And to produce that, I mean, you have a huge amount of data, very, very different data coming from different systems that were never built to talk to each other. So now you get a ton of data in from multiple systems in different formats, in different shapes, and the task is now to structure it and standardize it so you can present it in a coherent way to your customers in the channels. That is a daunting task that requires standardization and it requires automation. So, and this is what we do. And this is what you need from a PIM and a DAM system. This is the thing that Peter also talked about. Being able to present your products everywhere and in every touch point that you have with your customers. And to add to that challenge, we now see a change in the buying persona. So the buyer today in the B2B space is not the dinosaurs like me. It's the millennials and the General Z. It's the young people. They bring their experience and expectations from the direct-to-consumer business where they're used to work to the business-to-business. So when they buy machines at 50,000 euros or whatever they buy, they have the same expectations to what they see and experience as when they buy a watch or a coffee machine for themselves.
Yeah, and here's the digital natives. I mean,
Yes.
they are so born with the iPad in their hands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the challenge behind the scene is, as this slide illustrates, that you have a number of sources on the left side. And this is just an example. There are many, many more. All those data sources feed product data into something, in this case, the PIM system.
So this is your ecosystem,
Yes,
so
it's basically
to say.
the technical ecosystem.
Yeah.
And in the middle, you have this automation and standardization, building workflows, enriching the data, product data, et cetera, so it serves the purpose and become ready to publish it downstream to where your buyers is supposed to be and meet the products. That is a huge task. And 94% of all buyers say that they will be more than willing to shift if the product data is inconsistent or they don't trust the brand. And at the same time, we see that 40% of all products have really inaccurate product data. So that is a huge problem. And then we haven't even mentioned what happens when we start to activate AI on both sides, both seller and buyer. That will only complicate things even further. So 1/3 of all product returns are due to bad data. That generates costs and lack of trust.
Can I pop in? I'm thinking about the new AI in Google.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the good product information, then you're not picked up either by Google AI.
No, then you don't exist.
No, that's really something to think about.
And it happens so fast. So there's no time. I mean, if you're not there from day one, you'll never get there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really a challenge. So talking a little bit about the challenges here with all the data, the volumes, the speed, the variety of the data, you need something in the middle that can handle all that, taming the complexity, so to speak. And you need, if you look at what kind of competencies and capabilities it is, you need a lot of different things. You need a system that connects to anything. You have to have something that can pick up all those data from wherever it comes, even from systems or technologies that doesn't exist today. You have to be sure that whatever happens tomorrow, you're ready because of the speed of everything now with AI and all that stuff. So that's one thing. The other thing is scalability. I mean, the volume of data is increasing because there's so many different attributes that attaches to each product. and it just increases and increases with regulatory compliance and buyer requirements and sustainability demands and what have you. So the detail and the granularity and the volume of data is just exploding. So you need scalability in your platforms. And finally, you want to understand what's happening out there. So being able to what we call optimizing the loop here is about monitoring how does my product actually perform out there in the digital channels. And if they do not perform, what do I do about it? And again, it has to happen almost in real time. If you spend 1 week fixing that, you're dead. It has to be right now. So that's another capability that needs to be there. So that is what I would say about how do you address that, and it is not simple. It is super complex, but it's also good business. I can talk a little bit about that because I think if you look at it from our experience with our customers, it comes into 3 different categories. First of all, it's about enhancing speed and productivity. Secondly, it's about reducing risk and costs and errors. That's the operational efficiency part. And lastly, but not least, it's about growing profitably. So, and we have some example from our own customer base, Matas in Denmark. They reduced their time to market by 99%. Instead of taking 8 hours, it took 1 click and off it goes.
Because I was a bit curious. You almost stole my question here, Christian.
Sorry.
What could you tell me about the top 3 key outcomes?
Yeah.
I know you have a few good examples, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Matas is one of them.
Yeah.
Reducing the time to or the internal effort from 8 hours to a few minutes. So they with the 50,000 SKUs they have in 200-300 different stores and online presence, that has to happen very, very fast, and that helps them a lot. Previously, it was taking a lot of resources out of the organization, and that also means error and redoing everything. So that's one example. In the reducing risk and operational efficiency, I would say Pandora, the well-known jewel company, Danish company,
yes.
they had a lot of data quality issues and a lot of other issues. But specifically on this one, they experienced a 80% reduction in support tickets from internal organization and from their customers due to better product data. So that's about reducing risk and taking cost out of your operations. And final example would be Jacuzzi, who does these bathtubs, hot tubs, and things like that. They introduced a structured monitoring workflow with PIM and everything, and they experienced an increase in their direct-to-consumer sale. They have different business models, but the direct-to-consumer sales increased from 4% of their total revenue to 14% of their total sales. Wow. And assuming that the cost of sales in the D2C channel is much lower, that's good business.
I love to hear those customer success stories. Thank you so much, Christian. And yeah, that was a very good summary and wrap up.
Thank you.
Hearing from Jonas at Tieto Create and Peter Toft from Keyshot and you, Christian, from InRiver. And in a blink of an eye, you will meet all these 3 fantastic experts to make a great summary. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Sato.
Welcome back, Jonas and Peter. And Jonas, I was thinking, do you have any reflections on those fantastic success stories Christian shared?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I knew you would.
Yeah, so just to echo what you just told us about Christian, we had customers telling me just about this incredible increase in, or let's say, efficiency, or how much shorter the launch of a new product could be. So they tell us that one customer told me that what used to take maybe 2 weeks takes them now less than half an hour. Yeah,
exactly, Jonas. And what you're describing here is exactly what we aim to deliver every time. And it also talks into one of the business benefits we just talked about time to market. So giving business users the ability to move fast and with confidence is really important. So when launching a product goes from taking weeks to minutes, it's not just about a win for internal operational efficiency. It also means that buyers get access to the information much faster, and that makes them ability to actually buy the products much sooner if and when they need it. So that's really a big benefit.
Yeah, true. And also, we experienced that people really love to be empowered, right? So I have product managers telling that, so what used to be customization, having to wait for the IT department to log some kind of a change, now they can do it themselves and without any type of customization. So that's also a great benefit to empower people.
Exactly, and that's why this is a business application for business users. And another thing that we've learned from our many implementations with a lot of customers worldwide is that selecting the right partner to help implement this technology is super important. So it can really make a big difference. It's not just about technology or technical delivery. It's about understanding the structure and the logic of the product information, and also how to support that buyer experience. So I believe that was one of our customers who said that just because we think something is right does not mean that it is. And that is a very good reflection from a customer to have. So that mindset helps a lot in actually avoid costly missteps and build a much stronger foundation.
We really feel that it's worthwhile spending some time initially to get that data model right. It really saves time, and it limits the type of issues that you will get upon release, and creates stability, and also sets you up for future scaling of business moving forward.
Yes, and that is why it matters to work with a partner who understands both the systems and the business context. So also a partner who can challenge assumptions and helps shape the data model is what we set product information apart for long-term success. Yeah.
Nice words. I mean, I get a little bit blushed here. Thank you, Christian, and all the colleagues. It also seems that the product information could be the foundation for smarter AI-powered experiences, like the personalization, voice search, and even automated content generation. Would you say that structured data is, what makes it happen?
Yes, absolutely. It's a very important part of it. So structured data actually is the core of digital buying experience. When your data is clean, consistent, accurate, centralized, managed, it becomes usable not just for humans, but also to machines. So that is what enables AI-powered search to deliver relevant results is so important, because soon, already you today see AI agents searching for products. So if your product data is not absolutely 100% correct and works flawless, you don't exist out there. So it's super important that your data is flawlessly correct in every aspect and in every channel, even in channels you don't know about today. Something will come that we don't know. So finally, I just want to add that PIM and product experience is a process. It's not a product or a technology. It's also that, but it's the process that's important. It's a never-ending process in any company. Products change, market change, suppliers change, customer behavior change. You have to have a flexible process which is made up of a governance model, a good technology stack, and an organizational structure that you are able to fit into whatever meets you out there.
And Peter, you have been working long with the 3D visualizations and digital twins and DAM. How do you see these capabilities complementing what Jonas and Christian has touched upon?
Yeah, today's topic was, how do we empower the modern buyer? And I think visualization plays a big part for us to understand what does the future buyer look like, how they're behaving compared to traditional, especially in B2B, that B2B they're buying much more online than they did before. So understanding the future trends and the buyer, and again, visual 3Ds, 2Ds is for me, like we talked about, is half the journey. You also have to have correct product data because clients need to make an informed decision. And personally, I've never bought anything by just reading a text or vice versa, just looking at an image. I need the whole view of what I'm buying. And that goes even more for professional buyers, like Jonas talked about, is the ramification of making the wrong decision based on wrong information or wrong images can be crucial for any kind of professional buyer.
A really good summary and last words. Thank you all for being here today and sharing your insights. And what we have seen today is a clear story of transformation from the empowered buyer to the power of visual clarity to the structured product information that makes it all possible. Empowering the professional buyer means delivering trust, clarity and consistency at every touch point. And as we close, I encourage you to reflect. Are your systems ready to meet the expectations of tomorrow? And if you're a bit unsure, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you for joining us, and let's keep building smarter and more connected buyer experiences together. Bye.
Bye.